If you're a new subscriber to this channel, if you're watching this review, you get a chance to win this. This is a DJI FPV drone that I paid $1,500 for with my own money. I'm also going to throw in 2 batteries, a controller, and the case. And you will win this for free, no shipping charge at all. You don't have to send me any money. So if anybody is imposing to be Drone Camps RC on my channel, making a comment saying you won this DJI FPV drone, they're lying. So don't reply to anybody, don't send any money online. It is a 100% free giveaway. This is gonna be shipped to your door by me. So one lucky subscriber in the next 100,000 subscribers will win a DJI FPV drone. Now, let's get back to the program. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Good luck in that DJI FPV drone giveaway. It's gonna come up in the next 100,000 subscribers, but today we have something new from iFlight RC. I am so excited because this is the quad that I would give away the rest of my entire fleet. Over 8 years of FPV experience, I would fly one style drone out there on an FPV road trip. It would be a 7-inch, of course, with something like an Insta360 1R RS on there. And now, today, we're gonna test that in this review. We're not gonna do any flashy, fancy montage intro or anything like that, or put it on a turntable or blow smoke up its ass or anything like that. We're just gonna take it out, and I'm gonna give you a legitimate, hardcore, old school FPV opinion on this guy. And what's new about the Pro? What's new about the Pro versus the old one? We're gonna get into that in this video. But first, as always, guys, we're gonna relax and fly a 7-inch. Here we go. That was awesome. That was awesome. All right, guys, welcome back from the flight test. That was really epic. Now, if you've never flown 7-inch before, let me give you an idea of what this is all about, okay? A lot of us fly 7-inch because, first of all, we want to do some distance flying. But second of all, we want something that's going to be a nice, big, easy, smooth cinema flying platform that can carry a good size camera that we can rely on. And that's something that's going to give us a pretty long flight time. Anytime you're flying range, you want to make sure that you have GPS on board. It is imperative to fly GPS if you're flying any type of crossfire. If you have a crossfire receiver on board any aircraft, it should have a freaking GPS, guys. I've been saying that for years. There's people out there that fly fixed wing and long range without GPS on there, no flight controllers. Yeah, it's taking a chance, because you know what happens with a quad. If you're brand new to this, if a quad loses reception from the radio, inside Betaflight it's set up to drop to the ground. And this one came to me with that same setup, drop to the ground. So if you're brand new to this, you might want to watch the tutorials on GPS and get your GPS set up, field test it first. The best advice that I can give you guys is field test it first. Now, also for the new guys, if you're brand new to flying GPS in Betaflight, this little GPS will return to home. It will hover over the home point, and then you'll have to take back control. However, it will drop to the ground within the 300-foot radius. That's 150 meters out. Past that, it will fly up and return to home. But inside that radius, it will drop to the ground. I had to learn the hard way when I was testing it out for the first time. So keep that in mind. Now also, iFlight is offering this in a ready-to-fly package, which I think is like totally, amazingly, awesomely insane. You can get the commando back there in the background. It's that little tiny game-style controller that you see right here, and that can come with a total ELRS package setup. I'm flying it old school with TBS Crossfire on board. I like Crossfire because if I'm doing any real range, I'm still kind of in the alpha beta stage of testing out ELRS, in my opinion, firmware and all that stuff. So even though it is open source, it still has some bugs to be worked out. So my trusted receiver for long range, still to this day, miles out, would be TBS Crossfire. And that's the full-blown TBS Crossfire module. And I just switched mine out. I didn't fly it on the Commando because I love my TX16 S Max. This radio right here has been serving me well, and I recommend it on my channel all the time. So street price, what you're looking at right here, guys, for the HD version with the full-blown air module on here with the old school DJI camera riding up front. It's got a camera shroud around it that comes along with it. Tons of TPU trimmings. You get a camera mount for GoPro, or you can put any other type of camera mount on the front. You could even put a decased camera on here. I'm not sure why you would. You just go the full-blown 4K on this one. Full size. You could do a Hero 10 as well. $659 though for the DJI version here. As you see it, that's without a radio. Now, bind and fly with TBS on board, that's $689, and with ELRS 2.4, that's $675. So, yeah, that will get you into long range. But let's get into what's different about this one versus the old one. A lot. And we'll start out with the propellers. The propellers on board are 7.5 inch. So this one has a little bit larger wingspan than what we had before. So now we're reaching out a little bit further. And what does that do for us? Well, that gives us a little more float. And if you've never flown a 7-inch before, guys, the best way to describe a 7-inch to you versus, say, a micro, a tiny whoop, or even a 5-inch, is that this flies a lot like, I explain it like a glider, like an RC airplane glider, a sailplane, because there's so much wingspan here, so much surface area on these props, that this quad really does float. Even in a low idle at the bottom end of the throttle, this baby floats when it's coming back to the ground. To try to land, it will take you some extra circles, some extra circuits to come back and find your landing spot, just because it wants to stay up in the air. They really do. They're really efficient. So
if you're flying at range and you want some good speed and a good heading, you can, you know, crank this camera up, this tilt a little more, and you can go really fast with a 7-inch. And I did notice that, you know, the bigger the motor, a lot of times, the lower the pitch is as far as the noise goes. And this is a little quieter, but it has that sort of deep hum to it when it starts up and takes off. It's just, I mean, I'll have to record this for you in person, and we'll do some more reviews on this quad, because I think this quad deserves more attention. For the analog version, again, like while I'm thinking about it, $499 for that one. So if you're an analog guy and you got Fat Shark, just get the analog version. And this will be your favorite quad. I swear to you, this will be your favorite quad in your fleet. It will be your most coveted quad. Now, it also has on board, what's different also is the Blitz. It has the Blitz F722 on board, which can handle a 6S battery. 6S, what's that going to do for you? It's going to give you a little bit longer flight time and just give you a little bit better power. And speaking of the power system, the motors have also been upgraded. Now we have the really beautiful Zing, or 2809 1250 kV motors on here. The other one had around 1300. I believe it might be 1300 or 1350s. I just saw Nick's yesterday when he was at the field. Nick has one. So that is very neat. And I'm gonna try to make sure that we get a little back-to-back flying with this one, because I've also heard on the street the rumor the flight time is a little less with this one versus Nick's, the original. So these are bigger motors, 2809 on these, and I have to look back and just look back at the specs and check out for you guys what the difference is there. For the motors, the original motors, we're looking at 2806.5 1800 kVs, and these are 2809 1250 kVs. So just, you know, just a little bit less kV, but a bigger motor. So what they were trying to think of to do there was make a little bit bigger motor but a little less kV, and sort of equalize that out for this larger prop. So they're adding a half-inch bigger prop. So obviously you want to just go up a tiny bit of a motor size and try not to like hurt the flight time too much. But again, we're getting reports saying that the older one has a little longer flight time. But I mean, guys, you're going to get above 20-minute flight times with something as large as like a 6S 5000 pack LiPo. You can also fly Lions on here, and then you can get a freaking, around a 30-minute flight time, which is totally crazy. But you're going to be cruising with that. So let's get back to the specs on here. The specs, we have that beautiful F7 on board, and that's what's making it fly so beautifully. And we also have the Blitz flight controller. It's a green flight controller versus the older one on board. Let's see. We also have 55 amp ESCs. That's all the same. And one thing that I noticed right away pulling it out of the box, remember the iFlight Nazgul? Well, yeah, let me just zoom in here. Zoomy, zoom, 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 zoom. Okay, from the side, check this out. Side skirts. And these side skirts go all the way front to back. So if you have a real hardcore crash, a lot of this stuff is going to be saved. This is really nice. So the sticks and stuff are not going to come poking through. You know what I'm saying, guys? So you're really gonna have a lot saved inside this frame if you have a hard crash. Sticks and things aren't gonna poke in there. Also, drops of moisture will stay outside the quad mostly. And the things that can be exposed to moisture out here, like the motors, they're fine. Your GoPro up here is gonna be waterproof. Your camera, not so much. But your main thing that you want protected from moisture is this flight controller right here. They've done a good job at giving it enough venting but coverage from the side so that you don't have any splash through here. So that's a good thing landing in wet grass, because I've killed a lot of flight controllers just doing that. But the front of the quad looks the same. Nick and I were looking at it yesterday, and it looks like the only difference as far as the body style goes is really the side skirts. And you might be able to get the side skirts and add it to your original Chimera 7. That would be nice if you could do that. We have red back here as well, and motor bumpers. Same thing, same exact parts from the Chimera7 original version. And we have a dead cat frame here on this one, which allows no props in view here, which is also nice. It has these forward swept and arms with sort of almost like an X style in the back, but flatter across the front. I'd like to see it a little straighter line across the front maybe. I kind of prefer that style, but it does have that classic long body on the back as well, which I really love. And another detail is that the screws that they used on the front here, these right here, they're pan heads, so they have a big extra washer part that's built right into the bolt. So this keeps this TPU mount from like busting or breaking like through. And companies for years have been using the standard M3 on these, and they just kind of melt right through. They fall right through, especially on the hot days. When you have a really hot day, that TPU heats up and it just pulls right through, and then you've got a torn up camera mount. So yeah, that's not good. We do have 6mm arms on here as well. Those are replaceable, of course. You got sandwich body construction, around a 3mm top plate. It has 8 bolts on the top here to release the top plate. I did have to get down into mine because I switched my receiver out because I'm stubborn about TBS for now. And you know, I'll get around to ELRS, but that's cool that they do offer that type of setup for you guys that want to fly ELRS with the Commando. You can take this thing out miles, either that Commando back there or the TX16 Max, either one. Same thing with the new MK2. You could also fly TBS on the new MK2. And what's cool about the new MK2 is that Crossfire is now native. You don't have to add any scripts or update the firmware. You just plop your TBS module in there and bam, you're ready to go. So I am super excited about this one. $499 to start and $650 or so. I think is a competitive price compared to what you can get out there. I mean, there are DJI HD quads out there that are in the $400 to $500 range that are smaller than this one, like the Nazgul 6, the Evoke. I would rather have this one for that price all day long. Even if it was analog, I'd rather have a 7.5 inch because this is really where the fun is as far as being able to just have the maximum fun. If you're an airplane guy, again, I wanted to put this information out there. If you fly big airplanes, go ahead and buy one of these. If you're used to flying big aircraft, you could set this one up. If you can set up a gas engine, tinker with a laptop, you can fly one of these at the local field, test it out, and then take it out in the cowpasture and do some nice range flying. But take it outside of town. Don't fly it in town over top of houses and things like that. Just take it out in the countryside. That's where these quads really, really can get moving, and you can really cover some ground and keep a line of sight between the quad and your module. And that way, as long as you're high enough, you're not going to fail safe. But the cool thing about this is that if you do fail safe, you have GPS on the back. So what's going to happen, instead of dropping to the ground, boom, you're going to level out. And sometimes it just twitches until the signal comes back, and then she goes back to acro. Real strange thing, I'd be flying along down a canyon, and it'll twitch, boom, and it'll just pop back up, and it'll start to rise as well. So watch out for that. That's something that catch you off guard, but it will save you. It has saved me. Instead of going down in a river, I just leveled out until I caught signal and then started flying acro again. So really nice to have GPS on the back when you're flying long range, but really cool that we have a 7.5 inch now, guys, with this new body style, the size skirts, the new 2809 motors on here, all the bells and whistles. And this is gonna be a top shelf quad for me this year. And I'm excited because I've been using my DJI FPV drone lately a little bit to do some cinema stuff. And I would prefer this format over that one any day. This is my pick over the DJI FPV drone. It flies better, it handles better. It actually gets a better flight time. I got to talk about that because that's a $200 battery, $170 battery versus one of these. You can get them under $100 for these batteries. A 6S 4 4000 milliamp or a Lion 6SP 4000 milliamp Lion, much longer flight times, on double the flight time of a DJI FPV drone. I would go head to head with anybody on the internet and do a test back to back, and I will win. So check out the link down below, guys. Use my code on this one as well, BG Davis 2021. That one's still active. You can get 8% off your purchase. And yeah, guys, I'll also recommend a battery down below for a LiPo, and I'll also recommend a Lion. If you're gonna fly Lion on here, keep it easy on the throttle, the minimum amount of throttle to keep the nose up. And that's a cruising style battery. LiPo is going to be more of a freestyle battery if you want to do some loops and things like that. But I would keep it chill with this quad and just go out there and relax, enjoy the flight, and just bring it back in one piece. That's the magic of anything that lifts off the ground and comes back to your feet. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.